All right, we are live, and as usual, I have a great episode for you today. Today's episode is about if you're thinking about starting a cleaning business, you're going to want to watch this first. All right. So, if you're a fan of the show and you haven't started a cleaning business yet, I think that this is going to be a very good show for you if you're teetering with the idea and you're considering starting one. I see Eddie's already in. Eddie, how you doing? Good to see you. Please make sure you like and subscribe. I know you already subscribed, but give us a like. We have an interesting show for you. And I'm glad that I see Eddie here because Eddie's got a question that he sent me that I thought a lot of people would like to know. So, if we can, let's go ahead and let's put his question up. Taj, if you could take the title of the show down for a second and put Eddie's question up. Eddie sent me a message on Instagram. Eddie isn't in the program, but he's a fan of the show and he comes on. Aaron, hey, how you doing? Not this one, Taj, the other one first. The actual question. There you go. So let me try to. Is there a way to zoom in? If there's a way to zoom in, Taj, please do so. Basically, what Eddie was doing, and Eddie, tell everybody, what platform are you on? Is this Thumbtack? Is this, where are you engaging with customers when you're typing messages to them, these text messages? Where are you? Rick Benson, good to see you. Hi, Mom. Annette Shenley, I see you there. And Aaron, good to have you. Everyone here is basically in my group, in my private group. So Eddie put up this question here, which Taj is trying to zoom in on. But essentially, what Eddie did was, it's from Yelp. Okay, thank you, Eddie. So Eddie is buying leads on Yelp. He's advertising on Yelp, and people are engaging with those ads, and they're basically they're selling. If anybody is thinking about advertising on Yelp, number one, I don't like Yelp. It's probably the least of my favorites because what they do is they take an inquiry that someone has about getting service and then they sell it to 3 to 5 providers. And so this potential customer, this prospect, we'll call them, is getting messages from different providers and typically getting quotes. So they're just going to probably pick the lowest one, assuming everybody has good ratings and reviews. This is not a good way to get leads. This is why Eddie is frustrated, and he sent it to me and asked me if it was a okay way to engage. And what he did was he engaged the lead and then said, you have 2 options. Here's the price for a deep clean. Here's the price for a standard clean. You tell me which one you want. And I think that part of his problem first, why people aren't responding to him, is clarity. Let me give you an example. I know you can't see it. It's too small, but in the beginning, the first paragraph of Eddie's message to the prospect is, you have 2 options. Let me show you. I'll give you a flat rate option. And then in the first option, in the second paragraph there, he talks about how adding appliances is $20 extra. So he's saying it's a flat rate, and then he's saying that there are add-ons. And it's very misleading, very tough to understand. And I got it, but I had to really analyze it, and I'm in the business. So for a lay person, there's no way anybody's going to understand that. If you confuse people or you give them too much information, they're just going to move on to the next. Less is more in this case when you're trying to get leads on Thumbtack or Yelp, and you want to get people on the phone. That is the number one thing. You've got to get people on the phone to have a conversation. And the way that you do that is you try to give them logic at first. If they insist on just chat's fine. But what you want to tell them in the way that you'll stand out, which nobody else will do, is you'll respond to them saying that the only way to give them an accurate quote, one that won't change, is to ask them a few questions and discover what it is that they need. And once they answer these questions that you have, then you can be accurate with your quote. And so you want them to call you, or if you can call them. So I always ask for the phone number and say, can I give you a call? It takes about 3 to 5 minutes. Once you answer a few questions I have, I can give you an accurate quote. And once you do that, people are usually okay. You can even take it one step further, and you could say, if the other providers are giving you a quote without asking for a phone call, that price will probably change. There's no way to have enough information to give you an accurate quote just by communicating like this without any discovery. So, I sometimes always say too, or when I used to do Yelp, I don't want you to overpay for something that you don't need. That's the magic line. I don't want you to overpay for something you don't need. So if we talk for a few minutes, I'll ascertain exactly what you need and you'll only get charged for that. If you hit people with logic, typically they'll go straight to the phone. If you can't get them on the phone, you don't have an opportunity to differentiate. And if you can't differentiate, I've said this time and time again, your service becomes a commodity. And when your service becomes a commodity like gas or milk, anybody will stop at any corner to pick it up. There's nothing special about it then. And the only thing that matters is the lowest price. You don't want to create the equivalent of somebody driving around looking at the gas station signs for the lowest price per gallon. That creates unhealthy competition. Everybody starts cutting their prices all the way down till nobody can make any money anymore. And it doesn't do anybody any good. Even if you got the business, you're not going to make any profit on it. So what's the use? This is a classic Yelp and Thumbtack strategy and tactic. The reason why I don't like them is because they pit the service providers against each other. That's what they do by nature of the way that their platforms work. And it doesn't do anybody any good. So immediately, first move, stand out by saying, wait. If people are quoting you without a phone call, they're misleading you. When they get there, things could change. I'm going to give you an accurate price so you don't overpay. That will not change. Let's have a quick call. That's what you got to do. If you can't do that, then you have to keep your responses and your communication to them in text very short, very simple. No blocks of paragraphs like that. One sentence, next paragraph, one sentence. You give people a big block to read, it's going to turn them off. Nobody has the patience and you just won't win. So first, try to get them on the phone. If not, very simple, quick answers and questions. Not huge explanations, not options. Don't make people think. If you give people work to do, they're going to go find somebody who doesn't give them work to do. Is that clear, Eddie? I hope that helps. But you gave them this giant, option one, option two. It's like, whoa, to them, they just want their house cleaned. They don't know the options and this and that. They don't know. So when you hit them with the deep clean or a standard clean and you haven't defined the difference, how would they know what they want, right? So be clear, be concise, and make it easy for them to make a decision. But that first decision you ask them to make should be to get on a quick call. All right. You're welcome, Eddie. That was my advice there. And if you get leads from Yelp or Thumbtack, that's fine. But you have to understand the psychology and you have to understand what the platform is doing when they're sending it to you. You have to understand where it's coming from, why it's coming, who else it's going to, what they potentially will say, and you got to stand out. You got to do it. You got to do it in a second. The other part is, Eddie, could you tell us, please, how fast did it take you to respond to that lead? If it was more than 30 seconds to a minute, that's also part of the reason why you didn't get a response. If you could be honest with us, if it was 5 minutes, that's fine. Just let us know. I'm curious. And thank you very much for asking that question. It's a great question. There was another question, and I get this question all the time. Do I prefer 1099 or W-2? Look, there's no right answer to that question. It depends what you want. W-2 is going to give you a little bit more control, but you're going to have to pay payroll tax on it. So W-2 is more expensive, but a lot of people like having that control. They like to be able to tell someone where to be, what time to be there, what to wear, all these things. It doesn't mean that you can't go 1099 and do the same things, essentially. You just have to do it a little bit different to get the same outcome. All right. So it's a longer answer. I prefer 1099 because I've mastered how to get the outcome I want without having W-2 payroll taxes. All right. So anyway, Eddie says 2 to 3 minutes since I copy and paste the script. All right. That's another thing. Got to answer within 30 seconds to a minute. If you can't do that, you're in trouble with some of those. Even 2 to 3 minutes is too long. All right. But change the script, short, quick, and that's it. And ask for micro commitments. Don't ask for big answers or commitments right away. First, can we hop on a call because? And wait. Second, yes, I want to hop on a call, or no? Okay, you don't want to hop on a call? No problem. Will you answer a few questions for me so I can give you an accurate quote? Just there, not the questions, and then one question at a time. All right, moving on. Today's show, if you're thinking about starting a cleaning business, you got to watch this first, all right? I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to get into that in a second. Before I do, I want to play a clip. I have a guest, a very special guest today. He's been on the show many times. Taj, if you could play this clip. We have Alex Hermosi on the show today, I think. I think we have Alex again on the show. Oh, we don't have Alex. We have a different creator this time that I like. He's a fitness creator. I don't know much about him, but I love his posts. I wanted to share this today with you because I think it's really, really relevant. Go ahead and play.
Your odds of success are literally 100% if you just don't stop showing up. People quit, and that's why they don't win. It is really that simple. It is not easy to do, but it is that simple. Giving up is literally the only way that you can fail. Everything else is just a form of feedback you got that gets you closer to the solution or the thing that you're chasing. Like Alex Hormozi, the man worth hundreds of millions of dollars, says, 90% of extraordinary success can be boiled down to doing the obvious thing for an extraordinary period of time without convincing yourself you're smarter than you are. I will not fail at content because I will simply not quit creating content ever. I will not fail in my business because if something doesn't work, I just pivot and try something else because there are no failures, only feedback. This is it. This is the only thing you need to know to be successful. Like, this is the golden rule. Just keep going. You're probably closer than you think. It isn't easy, but it is simple. Don't overcomplicate. Your odds of success are literally one.
All right. Your odds of success are literally 100% if you don't quit. He's right. 100% is your success rate. And I agree 100%. If you want to start a cleaning business, you got to watch this episode first. For those of you that are new to the channel, if you want to be a guest of the show, email me at johnmargalit.com or DM me on Instagram if we're live, and the moderator will give you a link to come on the show. We can talk about anything you want. You'll have my undivided attention. If you want to be on camera, it would be great. It's more entertaining that way, but if you don't, I respect it. You don't have to be on camera. You can be audio only. And there are two ways to work with me. If you guys don't know who I am, if you're new to the show, my name is John Margalit, and I'm the founder of Happy Home Helpers. It's a 7-figure remote cleaning business here in Las Vegas. And I made over $1.5 million last year with it in 2025. This year in 2026, I'm going to eclipse well over 2 million. And this is only my 4th year in business. So it's a relatively short period of time. I'm also the creator of Rags to Riches University, where I teach aspiring entrepreneurs and cleaning business owners how to start and grow a profitable cleaning business using my proven sales and marketing systems. And I teach it so you can run the whole thing just from your phone and your computer. I previously led a sales team, or the sales team, for a tech startup on Wall Street that scaled to a 9-figure exit. And that's where I fine-tuned high-performing sales teams and customer acquisition systems. So I bring a completely different approach, modern approach, to a very old, proven business that's cleaning. And that's why I've been able to get extraordinary results. And that's why people in my program are also getting excellent results. I've been featured in Entrepreneur Magazine and Yahoo Finance, and my cleaning business was named Best Cleaning Service in Las Vegas by City Council. And I think it's really important that I not just say these things, but I prove it to you. So every episode, I try to either show my latest tax return, my income statements, and or my results for that specific day or the day before. It's 12:10 right now-ish. It's afternoon, 12:10 p.m. And so we're going to check to see how much revenue my cleaning business has generated today, right now. And yesterday we were going to do it, but I held off because we're training new people and we wanted to give them experience invoicing and charging people. So we held off. Let's look at yesterday first, and then we'll get a gauge of where we're at today. All right. I'm going to go ahead and log in real time. I'm going to share my screen. Please let me know when you can see my screen. That would be helpful. Let's see. I'm going to share. When you can see my screen, please give me a comment. And Lindsay says, I won't be in today. I go to Zion, meeting with a friend. All right, Lindsay. Well, thank you for checking in with me. I appreciate that. Lindsay's in the group and a fan of the show. I'm going to go ahead and log in here. This is my Jobber CRM system. I'm going to go ahead and log in. If it allows me to here. Is it thinking? It is thinking. I don't know why it's taking so long. Here we go. It's logging in. And again, I'm not doing this to flex. I'm doing this to prove to you that I actually get the results that I claim to get. And I think that anybody considering a course or a mentor in this space, or any space for that matter, should be able to see proof very easily. If you can't, that means they probably don't have it. So I don't know why it's lagging today, but I'm going to try to refresh and see if I could get it to go. But it's thinking and it's not pulling up. So maybe we'll come back to this in a second. All right. I'm not sure what's going on. Let me try one more time to go to Jobber's homepage. There it is. All right. Can you guys see my screen? Can we add it to the stage, Taj? There it is. All right. So I'm going to go to, let's just go home first. Let's start at the beginning. Let's walk through this. I don't know why it's not loading again. Very strange. All right. I'm going to move on with the show. I don't know why it's not working. And this is troubling because my whole team is counting on Jobber to work. That's how we put all of our new business in and process everybody's payments. We'll come back to it. I'm going to leave it up on the screen and it'll load. In the meantime, I'm going to let everybody know, if you want my help starting or growing your cleaning business, there are two ways that you can work with me. The first is what I call the Remote Cleaning CEO Accelerator. It's the operating system, training, and weekly group coaching. You get my complete operating system, the pricing models, hiring systems, sales scripts, automation workflows, marketing structures, how to onboard cleaners, how to keep cleaners, how to pay them, everything. Plus weekly live coaching with me. And this is for people who want clarity, accountability, and a very proven state-of-the-art blueprint. The second way is very hands-on. I call it the Founder Intensive. It's a 90-day build program. You get everything in the Remote Cleaning CEO Accelerator, but we work closely together to build your business correctly from day one. You don't just get the information, you get hands-on implementation and precision. I choose that word because I feel like a surgeon going in and really, really building all of the pieces for you and with you until you have an operating business that gets to $10,000 in 90 days or less. Usually it happens in half the time. If you want to be a part of that program, I only take 6 people per quarter. You've got to email me at john@johnmargalit.com. JON@johnmargalit.com. That's my email address. No H, just JON, or it'll bounce back to you. And that's, if you email me and tell me you want to be in the program, I will send you an application. You can apply. And if you qualify, we can work together. And I'll tell you, it not only is it an interesting journey, but it's a lot of fun. All right. Me and my team go in and we do it together. Now, Jobber is getting an error message. So I'm going to try to go back to it again, restart it. And I think they're just having technical difficulties across the board. If I look at my Slack channel, I'll probably get messages from my team saying Jobber's not working. No. Anyway, I always begin the show the same way before I dive into the topic. I'm here for people who feel stuck in a job or any situation they can't stand. People that are tired of trading their time for a paycheck, just like I was. Tired of building someone else's dream and feeling like they don't have any real options. I've been exactly where you are, and I built my way out of it with a very simple remote cleaning business. Now my goal is to help you do the same. This isn't just about potentially starting a business. It's also about what the experience of being free truly does to you. How you become a different kind of person with more confidence, more clarity, more decisiveness. You become way more capable. And most of all, you become so much more resilient. And you do so you can create real financial freedom and real time freedom in your life. So I'll share my honest perspectives, my ideas, my simple frameworks about mindset, sales, marketing, decision making, and most importantly, problem solving. The things that you actually need to think and act like somebody who can build their own future. And just as important as the tactics, you all know I want this show to be a daily reminder that transformation is possible and that you're not crazy for wanting more. And you're definitely not alone in this journey. There's a bunch of people that are logged in and so many other people with us that see it. I've got a message here from the moderator. He says white screen. Yep, I see that. I'll stop sharing for now until it comes up. I was trying to let it load. And because real transformation always starts with a decision, we begin every show with the same question. And when I say it starts with a decision, you get to decide. Unless you live in a different country and there are different rules by which you can start a business, different rules by which you can pursue entrepreneurial freedom, I should say, then you just need to make a choice. So here's the real question. If you don't change anything, if you keep doing exactly what you're doing, I promise you, you will very likely be in the same position 1, 2, or even 5 years from now. You'll be feeling the same frustration, the same lack of control, and the same resentment toward your job or whatever situation you're in. But if you committed to transforming your life, really committed, both feet in, all chips in, there's a real chance that in 1 to 2, maybe 5, 1, 2, maybe 5 years from now, you could be exactly where you want to be. And I only say 5 years because sometimes you have to be patient. Sometimes it takes people a little bit longer than others. So because you know that's a question that you get to ask yourself and you get to decide, let me reframe this and ask you the real question. What hurts more? Continuing to endure a job or a situation you hate or that you know is a dead end? Or enduring the temporary discomfort of pursuing freedom and building something of your very own? Because here's the truth most people avoid. The pain of staying the same has no upside, no benefits. It just repeats. That's it. You're going to wake up. It's going to be Groundhog's Day for a long time. But the pain of trying to change, of building, learning, of failing, and trying again, at least gives you a chance at a better life. The topic of the show today is if you're thinking about starting a cleaning business, you definitely want to watch this episode. I put a lot of thought into today's episode like I normally do. And I think this one may be the key above all. This isn't tactical. This is not strategic. Today is about you. Most people don't fail because their business idea was bad. They fail because they quit. And usually it's right before whatever the thing was that they were setting out to do works. Right before. And today I want to show you exactly what happens in that moment, because if you can recognize it while you're in it, you might be one of the few who actually breaks through. There's this phrase that there's a phase that nobody talks about. It's not the beginning. The beginning is exciting. You're motivated. You're hopeful. You're imagining what your life could look like. And it's not the end either, because most people never make it there. It's the middle. The messy, frustrating, emotionally draining middle, where things stop going exactly how you expected, where effort doesn't match results yet. It's where every small problem feels like proof that maybe this just isn't going to work for you. I've been there more times than I can count. When I started Happy Home Helpers, I didn't almost quit once. I almost quit over and over again. Cleaners would no-show. Clients would call and be upset. Jobs would run longer than expected. And I'm telling you the truth, every morning felt like I was waking up to chaos. And I remember thinking, is this just how this business is? Am I ever going to figure this out? Or is this just another thing that's going to fail like everything else I've tried? And that thought, that quiet thought in the back of your mind, that's the moment where most people quit. Not loudly, not dramatically. They just slowly stop showing up. So I'm going to talk to you about the this might not work phase. There's always a moment where reality doesn't match expectations. Your ads don't work right away. That's a common one. Your website feels confusing if you try to build it yourself. Your Google business profile doesn't get approved. It just won't get approved for whatever reason. They don't tell you, so it's frustrating. Maybe some of your cleaners didn't show up and didn't communicate with you. They ghosted you. And your brain jumps to one conclusion, which is human. And that conclusion is that this isn't working. But here's the truth. That phase is not a sign to stop. That phase is the process. And I'm smiling because it took me a little bit of time to realize that. Your brain is trying to protect you, but it's lying. Your brain doesn't care about your potential. It cares about keeping you safe. So when things get hard, it sends signals. It tells you that this is stressful. It tells you that this feels uncertain. And it tells you, what if this doesn't work? And most people interpret those signals as you need to stop, you need to retreat, and you need to go back to what's comfortable. But successful people, they interpret those same signals as I'm in the right place. This is where the growth happens. I got to keep going. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe, all the things. If you haven't given me a follow on TikTok yet, please do. I'm trying to get to 1,000 so I can get the creator studio. I see a like here. If we could see some more hearts, that would be phenomenal. Rick Benson, yes. Aaron, can see it again. Oh, you're talking about my screen. I'll get back to that in a minute, you guys. So where's the breaking point? This is where nights that I couldn't sleep, my mind was racing. Every problem felt permanent. And I remember sitting outside with my wife. We would put our feet in the pool, and she would always just say, just try to breathe. And she looked at me and said, you're going to figure this out. I'm not letting you quit. And that moment mattered more than anything because that was the time I was really serious actually about just giving it up. Because I didn't need a new idea. I needed to stay in the game long enough to figure it out. And I'm sure she remembers. I would always say, what if we pivoted and did this? What if we took the same people but offered this service instead? It might be less hectic. But everything changed when I stopped asking. When I stopped asking, is this working? And I started asking, how do I fix it? I was on the call last night, the group coaching call, and Rick Benson, he's here with us now. He says, God, it looks like you really figured out everything. It's because systems are built from pain. Every problem that made me want to quit became a system. Cleaners no-show, got a backup system. They're late to jobs, we have scheduling buffers. Poor communication, created better onboarding. But those systems only exist today because I didn't quit when it was messy. Now, let's talk about why people quit inside of Rags to Riches University. Let's talk about that. Does everybody fly through and not quit? No. They're human. Do most people succeed? Yes. And I see the same thing with the students, but few disappear. It's never the business, it's life. Life happens. Something personal happens. They lose momentum. They hit one wall. It's either they have trouble building their website, their Google business profile doesn't get approved, or their ads don't work right away. They try something, it doesn't work instantly. And instead of leaning in, they step back. And once momentum breaks, it's very hard to restart. So the real skill in entrepreneurship is staying power. It's staying power. That's what it is. Aaron says, wish I was part of the stream. Wish I was part of the call last night. Unfortunately missed it. Don't worry. I'm going to post the replay today. He's talking about our group coaching call every week. The people who win, they're not the smartest. I promise you that. They're not the most talented either. They just stay. They keep showing up. They keep asking questions. They keep adjusting. Long enough for it to click. Last night, Alex, he was a guest of the show a couple weeks ago. He's doing extremely well. He's in the program. And he said, I think I need a virtual assistant. And I said, why? Why do you need one? He said, well, it's because I'm just so busy now and I want to grow the company. And I said, all right, what are the 3 things that take up the most time that bog you down? And he said, well, number 1 would be the leads, answering the thumbtack leads. And I said, okay, well, let's get somebody to handle that for you. And he said, no, I don't think anybody else could do it. It's got to be me. I've heard this one before. I thought the same thing. So I said, really, Alex, why? Why do you think that? And he said, well, it's a tricky game because sometimes I have to lower my price a little bit and I really feel it out as I go. And I stopped him right there and I said, Alex, you're really good, but you're not special. You're not special. And he had this look on his face and I said, your ability to grow the business is going to depend on how well you can teach others what you just explained. I said, if you call my company right now, one of the ladies will answer, I thought the same thing. You tell me whether or not you think that they can handle it. And I saw it clicked. I saw it. I saw the wheels turning in his head. And now, instead of him trying to always answer every lead himself and optimize it, now he's thinking, how can I teach somebody else to do this? So I can delegate. And then all he has to focus on is growth, not day-to-day operations. It was a very real moment last night. That's why everything that we build it to be handed off. I have a good quote for you today. Aaron says, what's a good alternative for Thumbtack in the UK? Oh, I don't know, Aaron, to be honest with you. I don't know if you have TaskRabbit. I don't know if you have Angie. I think Angie's a global. I'm not sure, but I'll tell you what. I bet ChatGPT or Claude knows the answer to that. That's what I would do. Let's get the quote of the day up. Napoleon Hill says, most people give up right before the breakthrough happens. Let's really sit with that for a second, because I don't think people truly understand what that means. Aaron says, haha, very true. I'll use that. Or I know, right? ChatGPT knows everything. But let's really sit with that for a second, because I don't think people truly understand what it means. When you hear that quote, it sounds motivational. It sounds nice. But when you actually live it, it doesn't feel inspiring at all. It feels heavy. It sort of feels confusing. At least to me, it does. It feels like you're doing everything right and nothing's working. Because the breakthrough doesn't announce itself. There's no signal, no notification, no moment where you're like, okay, I'm getting close now. It actually feels the opposite. It feels like things are falling apart. You start questioning everything. Was that the wrong idea? Am I just not good at this? Why does it feel like everyone else is figuring out except for me? Let me know. You tell me in the chat. You ever feel like everybody else is figuring out except for you? And what makes it worse is you've already put in effort. You put in time and energy and emotional stress. So now it's not just hard. Now it feels like you might have wasted all of that time too. And this is the exact moment Napoleon Hill is talking about. Not when things are easy, not when you're excited, not when you're winning. He's talking about that moment, the one where quitting actually feels logical and reasonable. Even it feels responsible. Because your brain starts building a case. Maybe I should start cutting my losses. Maybe I should just go back to doing something stable. And if you're not careful, that voice sounds very smart, almost protective, almost like it's trying to help you. You know, in the old movies, they used to put the little the guy here. Maybe they had the devil and the angel. That's what starts to happen. You get the noise. But here's the part nobody says out loud. That voice has killed more dreams than failure ever has. I'm going to say that again. If you're listening and you're watching right now, lean in because this is important. That voice, the one that tells you to go do something safe, has killed more dreams than failure ever has. Because what most people don't realize is that the breakthrough doesn't come from doing something new. It comes from staying with something long enough to finally understand it. That's what happened to me. When cleaners were no-showing, when clients were upset, when every morning felt like damage control, I thought I was failing. I thought the business wasn't working. But looking back now, I wasn't failing. I was learning the exact problems I needed to solve. I just didn't know it yet. And if I had quit in that phase, I would have walked away believing that the business model doesn't work. When the truth was, I just hadn't figured it out yet. And that is the trap. That's it. That's the trap. That's when people misinterpret the moment. They think this isn't working, when in reality, this is where it starts working if you stay. I see it happen all the time. Someone launches their ads. 2 weeks go by, they're not working yet, and then they shut it down. Someone builds a website, they get stuck, and then they disappear. I've got someone in the program, been in the program for a couple of months now, 2.5 months-ish, still stuck on the website. Someone hits one obstacle, and instead of really digging their heels in, they take a step back. Not because they can't do it, but because they don't realize they're standing right next to the breakthrough. I mean that. And if you're that person and you're watching right now, I hope next Wednesday you show up and the website is done. You have AI on your side, and you can message me if you need help. And the truth I wish someone drilled into me earlier was that you don't get rewarded for starting. You get rewarded for staying. So when you feel that moment, that urge to quit, that pressure in your chest, the voice telling you to walk away, don't see it as a red light. See it as a signal, a very specific signal that you've made it further than most people ever will. And you're much closer than you think. Happens every time. Remember something. Most people don't quit because it's impossible. They quit because they don't realize they're only one decision away from everything finally clicking. I have some thoughts for the audience. I have some questions. I always like to get to this segment of the show because it's engaging and I like to see what people think. Here it goes. What have you already quit that might have worked if you stayed with it? Be honest. I'd love to see your answers. Some of you are younger and maybe haven't had a lot of shots yet. Some of you have, and you're embarrassed about it. Some of you are okay telling. I'm curious to know. The next question I have is, if you're in it right now and you're struggling, are you actually stuck or just very uncomfortable? I think for most of you, you're uncomfortable. And if you feel uncomfortable, that's okay. That's where everybody who succeeded was and felt. The same uncomfortableness. Aaron says e-com. Yeah, I did that too. I tried to sell a number of things, e-commerce, and I failed. I didn't understand that there was so much cost in the warehousing. Once you get it to the warehouse, you have to pay for every order that comes from a consumer to pick, pack, and ship the item. Once you pay to send it to the warehouse, pay to unload it and store it, and then pay to ship every order, there's not any money left. The profit just evaporates into thin air. Thanks for sharing, Aaron. If you knew success was guaranteed in 12 months, would you still quit today? You know, Alex Hormozy says this a lot. He says, if I told you what was required to reach the success that you want, why wouldn't you just go do it? He says, yeah, you might have to post 30 times a day. And then he talks about how he made 6,000 pieces of content last month. Well, it's because he has a team, but at one time he didn't. But if you knew success was guaranteed in 12 months, would you still quit today? What if the thing that you're avoiding right now is the exact thing that unlocks everything? What if the thing you're avoiding right now is the exact thing that unlocks everything? You know, Alex also said that he credits his success to attacking the things that he knows he's most uncomfortable with, because his competitors, meaning just anybody else, will procrastinate and move away from it. So he makes it his priority to attack it. Not deal with it, not put it on his to-do list, attack. All right. Now we're moving on to the portion of the show where there's a clear takeaway. I like a core lesson for every show. It's 12:45. We got a few minutes. If you take one thing from today, it's this. Success is not about starting. It's about staying long enough to solve the problems. And every problem that you're afraid of, someone else has already solved it. Which means you don't need to be perfect. You just need to not walk away. Did I ever tell you guys about Will Smith's speech when I think he won an Oscar for the one where he did with the movie with his son, where he was trying to get the job as a Wall Street broker and they were homeless. But Will Smith, when he was accepting the award, he said that he figured out the key to life. And he said the key to life is running and reading. That's what he said. And he said, running, because it makes you feel very uncomfortable. Running a marathon is hard. Your lungs hurt. Your legs hurt. Your body is telling you to slow down and walk, or to sit down, or maybe even to lay down. But Will Smith said, if you can keep your legs churning, you can keep your forward momentum for a long period of time, you will train your mind on how to deal with adversity and feeling uncomfortable. So he says the key is learning how to run long distance, running. And reading, he says, because if you think that you have a problem or that you're uncomfortable with something that somebody else hasn't already solved, then you're just not reading enough, because it's in a book somewhere. Makes a lot of sense. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to not walk away. In closing, this is why I built everything the way I did. Not because the business is complicated, but because the middle is hard. The confusion, the doubt, the moments where you don't know what to do next. That's where people disappear. So I built systems, I built a community, and I made myself available. Because if you can just stay in it, you will figure it out. And you will feel something, or I should say, if you feel something watching this, like this is the direction you're supposed to go, I would listen to that, not the fear, not the hesitation, the quiet voice underneath all of it. Because opportunities don't always show up loudly. Sometimes they just feel right. And the longer you ignore that feeling, the easier it gets to stay exactly where you are. Sort of a full circle moment here from the beginning of the show. Most people don't fail because they chose the wrong path. They fail because they walked away from the right one before it had time to work. That's it for today's show. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. If you want to be a guest of the show, just go ahead and DM me on Instagram at John Margalit. You can shoot me an email if you want to work with me, or if you want me to help you start or grow your cleaning business. John at johnmargalit.com. If we could put it up, please. There's no H. It's just JON at johnmargalit.com. I'm revamping the website and putting more resources on it. I think it's a little hard to navigate and find what you need right now, so I'm making it more simple. Rick Benson says, cost of Google LSA versus Thumbtack leads. Well, Google LSA, the LSA is the acronym for local service ads. Local service ads from Google, where your business shows up on the map, is the most expensive lead. But it is the most likely to convert. It's the highest conversion because it's showing the proximity that you're local to them. It's showing that you have a verified badge from Google, which means that they vetted you, you're licensed and insured. And it gives them immediate access to see your ratings and your reviews or click through to your website. LSA over Thumbtack all day long. Some people struggle to get volume from LSA. That's why they're utilizing Thumbtack. LSA clients are better clients. They'll pay your normal fee. Yelp and Thumbtack want a lower rate because they're shopping with 4 other people that they think do the exact same thing as you. And when you're trying to differentiate, don't do it with the quality of work. Everybody assumes that if you run a cleaning service, that you do decent work. Shine in other areas. Shine in the customer service, the communication. That's the opportunity here. Most of the cleaning services in the market, most of all services in the market, lack a good customer experience. That was a good question. Any other questions? Google local service ads versus Thumbtack. They both work. One's more expensive, much better lead. It's your lead exclusively. They came to your website or they clicked to call you. On Thumbtack, people go to Thumbtack, put their information in, and Thumbtack says, we're going to send it out to the best people in your area. They're going to give you quotes, and you choose who you want from that set of service providers. Much different user experience, much different buyer journey. One's directly you own it. The other one, Thumbtack owns and distributes it to 4 other yous. Yous. I don't know if that's a word. Anyway, I think you understood. Anybody else? That was a very good question. Very good question. And like I said in the beginning, I would try to take people off the platform. I want to get them on the phone. And if you don't feel comfortable on the phone, get somebody who is. That's where the magic happens. On the phone. That's how you build a connection with somebody. That's how you establish rapport. That's how you gain trust. That's how you do discovery. Very good questions. I may have some more announcements to make tomorrow. I'm trying really hard to update the material a little bit. I've got some new concepts that I've been testing at Happy Home Helpers that have been working really well, so I'm excited to share it with the group. I've got a new marketing partner that I'm testing. He's guaranteeing people clients for the ad spend, not leads, booked jobs. He's got a team of people that respond immediately to the ads that he runs on Facebook. They sell them the work, you get the client, and then after the work is done initially, they try to upsell them for you into recurring service. And if they buy, they cease communication with that customer, and the customer's yours. You have the customer, they're your customer. They just handle the first booking and the second booking to try to get them into the recurring. That's a really unique offer. Most people sell leads. This guy's selling customers. Any other questions? I know we have a lot of people that are on right now. Just if anybody has any questions, we've got a few more minutes. I can answer questions. If you want to come up and talk to me about something, just DM me on Instagram at John Margalit. We have a lot of interesting things to talk about. Instead of AI replacing us, we could talk about how AI can augment our efforts and make things easier for us. I have a friend, and he's been messaging me a lot, asking me if I'm using AI to its full potential, and he tells me that he can help me get more out of it. And he's sending me some really interesting things, but I'm pushing back still because I know the AI just isn't there yet. It's close, but it's not there yet. I won't let it talk to my customers. No way. Rick said he is still cheaper than buying a small cleaning company. Exactly. So what Rick is saying is he did the math. He said, if I buy customers from this guy versus going out and buying an established cleaning business that has recurring customers already, long-term, I would assume, it's cheaper to be patient and pay this guy to get customers than it is to buy the existing cleaning business that has them. We could argue one is a lot faster, but is the speed worth the extra dollars? In Rick's scenario, I don't think so. I'd be patient and I'd build it myself. I would really appreciate it if you haven't liked, followed, and subscribed. Please do so. And please give me a follow on TikTok. I'm trying to build up to get to the Creator Studio. Thank you, Taj, for putting that up. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. If you want to be my guest, all you have to do is DM me at John Margalit on Instagram. You can send me an email, john@johnmargalit.com. And if you want my help starting or building your cleaning business, shoot me an email. Or you can go to my website, and you can find resources there. johnmargalit.com. Thank you, everybody. As always, I enjoyed it. I try to come up with new topics every day, but sometimes I think it's important to hammer home some of the core messages. And not because some people are new to the show, because the people that aren't need to hear them again and again. You're welcome, Aaron. Thanks, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.